I know, it's the drama.
It is.
Oh, and then wait, hold on. And then there's us. It's a work in progress. It's a work in progress. Hi everyone. How's everybody doing? How's life treating you? How's it going? Uh, that was a whole moment. You're muted, Nia.
I was going to say, we worked on how we were going to get it started, but then we didn't work on how we were going to stop it. So there you go.
Oh, yeah, it was a whole thing. Well, welcome to Small Town World, everybody. Hope your weekend is going good. Mine has started off really kind of slow. Had all kinds of plans this morning, and instead I laid in bed and like scrolled YouTube. Welcome. This is where we talk about all things small town. We put together small towns. We have fun with small towns. We play with small towns. All the small town fun that you might want. This is my lovely co-host, Nia, the Vixen of Fiction. I'm going to give her a chance to introduce herself, and then we're going to tell you guys what we're jumping into today.
All right. Hi, I'm Nia, the Vixen of Fiction, all over the internet. I stream on YouTube and on Twitch. You can also find me on Instagram at the Vixen of Fiction, but everywhere else it's just Vixen of Fiction. So you can find me over on TikTok, Twitch, and Instagram, and we have a Discord. So those are the places. I'm trying to think. I'm a little rusty, so I'm like, is there somewhere else? But mostly I'm here on YouTube.
Nia's been taking a little time off, much deserved, for good reasons.
Yeah, we have had so much going on, but the last family member who is on the visiting train is leaving. Today's their last day. They're out with all the young folk, so I have the house to myself.
Ooh, nice.
Yes.
I was trying to think when the last time I had the house to myself was. It was a good
No,
day.
I haven't had the house to myself in weeks. So it's very quiet. It's just me and the dogs. Hubby is out. All the kids are out.
That's always the fun because, like, I understand like we're blessed to have family that we love and like to spend time with and
Mhm.
enjoy when they visit and everything like that. I'm well aware not everybody has that.
Yeah.
But as much as you love them, as much as you like having them there, you also are like, okay, but bye.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can breathe. I don't have to clean up after 17 people. Like, like we're not cooking for 20,000 folks and everything.
And I've got crazy enough. I was trying to time my sourdough. The starter is ready now, and I'm like, please do not fall.
A little bit of time. Me and my
If it
sourdough.
does,
Uh-oh. Did you freeze our
oh
freeze?
nope. Okay, we're all here.
There we go.
All right.
We don't want a food tangent, but just real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've been struggling with my sourdough.
I'm so sorry.
Yesterday I was watching a video and somebody was talking about the different hydration levels for flour. And I
Yes.
thought I had been buying the same flour that my family bought when I was up in Colorado. And so I messaged them and I was like, what flour did you get?
Oh, Tiffany,
Totally different flour.
I'm gonna have to take a picture. So I put all of my flowers in containers. I have every kind of flour. Even I make my own muffin flour, right? Where you combine things
Mm-hmm.
to make.
Mm-hmm.
I have everyone marked with their hydration and their protein. when I dump it out of the bag because it's written on the bag. And honestly, before I started baking, I didn't know what any of these numbers meant. I just
Right?
if they said all-purpose flour, I used all-purpose flour. And all-purpose means that it's already got like the baking powder
Powder and
in.
everything else in there, or
Yeah.
self-rising baking
Oh
soda.
yeah, the
Yeah.
self-rising. Oh, all purposes can be used generally. Self-rising has the baking
Hmm.
powder already in it. Cake flour has cornstarch in it. So all of these different things. I'm like, I was just using. If it said use flour, I'm like, I don't have flour, but I've got Bisquick, and I would just use that. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, it's flour, right? Which Bisquick, I also have a container with Bisquick that lets me know this is Bisquick. This is what it's got. So I already know. Yes, all the things that
Yeah.
you learn when you start
So I
really getting
went
into.
and looked it up, and I compared, and literally I looked it up, and when I was looking it up, the bread flour that I was getting was like, it can work for some high hydration breads, but not others. Your best bet is to go with something that has a higher protein level. And I was like, is this why it's not absorbing the water? Is this why it's completely sticky and everything's crazy and I can't get it to form an actual like shape?
Yep. When I follow
I'm
someone's
over here like,
recipe, I
I'm,
pay so close attention to what kind of flour. If they say they're using bread flour, I'm not using something else. If I'm following their recipe, I'm
but I
using
was
bread flour.
using bread flour. It was
If
just
their recipe,
a
if
lower
their
bread
recipe,
flour.
yeah, yeah, yep. If they say use all purpose,
I was this
I'm a fan of
close,
the unbleached flour. So I use that whenever I can.
this
Um,
close to scrapping my starter and doing it all over again.
no,
I
no.
was so just last night.
So have you tried something with it yet, or are you just starting?
No, because it was just last night that I watched it, and I bought the King Arthur's bread flour because I
Mhm.
was like, maybe I need that specific bread flour because everybody raves about that.
That's what I
So
use, King Arthur's
yeah,
bread flour,
so I
unless
went
it says something else.
because I found it at Sam's for a good price, and so I got it there. And then I had gone and I bought the unbleached regular all-purpose flour because I was like, maybe my starter is not strong enough and I need the unbleached flour instead of the all-purpose regular flour. So I had just
Mhm.
gotten that, and then I was watching this, and then it was the light bulb thing. And this one person, I'm tempted to do their trick. The
I feel
guy,
like I feel like Baker Betty might have said something about this in one.
she
Maybe
could
it
have
was
said, I
somebody
just
else.
found Baker Betty.
Oh, she's wonderful. She's who I started. My starter is Baker
See,
Betty's
I
starter.
didn't start mine with hers. I started mine with Natasha's Kitchen.
Oh, okay.
So it was different. And then I got into the sourdough groups, and they even told me that I was putting too much flour in my starter to start it. Like her recipe, I guess, was a little bit too high. So they had me knocked back, and then it came out really great. But I was like, okay, great. So, but this person had this whole thing where they took, because they were talking about baker's percentages. So they took 100 grams of, and they did one at a 65% hydration, which is just 65 grams of flour, one at like a
I
75%
feel like I saw this
hydration,
video. I feel
maybe,
like
which
I
is
know what you're
75
talking
grams
about. I'm
of
like,
water.
and they said
And,
this is the difference when after they baked
and
the
then
two
they
bread.
mixed it all up and let it auto lease, and then stretched it out to see the window plane thing to see how much water the thing was. Yay! So I'm almost tempted to try that today, except for I'm like, that's 300 grams of flour. Like, what do you do with that after you put all the water in it?
Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah,
it
I
just
just
feels
baked.
like a waste. But
Yeah.
also at the same time, I was like, would I rather waste 300 grams of flour to figure out the hydration point, or
You make
another
something else.
500 and something grams?
Once it becomes discard and you're gonna discard it, if as long as it works, just use that discard for something else. Make a sourdough something like sourdough
Oh, I
muffins or
could, because that's what discard is
sourdough
basically, is
roll.
just
Yeah.
flour and water, right?
Yep. Yep. I don't waste any of my discard. Now I can tell you my starter is Baker Betty's, and I follow her rules with how much I use. Do use whole wheat, flour and unbleached flour. I do a combination. Now I don't always follow her ratio for the combination. I just do some of each. I can put my discard in the refrigerator, and one time I used so much that I almost had no starter left. I just took some of my discard out, and boom, her
Oh yeah,
starter, the way
yeah.
that it bounced right back. I'm like, I think I'm gonna have to like wait, like do it like 3 or 4 days before it bounces back. But no, I could use it the next day. I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
this is great. And I don't feed it when it's in the refrigerator. I'm just like,
Oh, I don't
discard
either.
in the fridge, discard in the fridge. Because some people like feed it once a week. Some people are like feed it once a month. Some people like forget about it.
I
And I'm
used
like,
my
first,
starter.
forget about it.
I used my starter. I mean, when I say it was strings on the edge of the
Yep.
glass jar, and I was like, I think I might have used too much. I don't know. Can I make this work? And I was trying to figure it out, and I was like, poured the water in, and I'm like scraping stuff down to like try to
Yep.
blend it into the water, and stuck that flour in there, and came back, and a few hours later, it had like doubled and everything, and I was like, so maybe because I like in the Facebook group they kept saying it like my starter maybe was weak, and that was why my bread wasn't doing it. And so I was like, well, maybe my starter isn't weak, maybe it's not the starter. So
Yes.
that's why I
Help
was like,
me.
I don't know. So yes, I'm very hopeful.
I'm hopeful for
I'm
you because I
hoping.
have been baking up a storm. I'm baking like every other day.
My goal is to pull out my starter from the refrigerator today, like am gonna do a combo of the unbleached flour, the bread flour, and the whole wheat flour. Like I was
Okay.
thinking doing like maybe a 3-to-1 ratio of it. Like if I do 40 grams, then doing 30 unbleached and 10 whole wheat, or something like that.
Mhm.
And like working with it that way for the week, and then hopefully by next week I can bake some bread and get a good loaf.
Yeah.
Because
I always do less whole wheat than I like. I do, but I always put some whole wheat in there. I don't know what it is. Baker Betty explained it when I
it
brought it
helps with
earlier.
it's got
Yes.
the grains or something on there. I
Mhm.
don't know.
So I always use some. So yes. Ah, what a great
Yes,
aside.
so
Can we just do?
I'm very hopeful.
We just need to have once a month baking streams where we can talk
We
about.
do.
I'm
When I told my father,
I'm totally.
um, that I was like, I'm meeting with North Carolina, or I was like, I have to go. I have a meeting with North Carolina or something like that. He was like, you're going there? Or he's like, what? And I was like, I'm streaming with North Carolina. He's like, oh, I thought you meant you were going there. And I was like, that would be fast. But then I walked around the corner. I was like, but that would be fun. We'd sit there and we'd bake.
Yep, we would just
I was
bake.
like,
There would
we'd
be so much bread, so much muffins. I'm making so many muffins now.
I know we'd have muffins, we'd have pizza, we'd have bread.
Oh my gosh, yes, I need to do a pizza.
Oh, I did a double batch of pizza the other week, so I still have some in the freezer, and
I
I
love that. I love
I
that.
might pull out some today or whatever. But yeah, I was like, huh, that'd be good.
Now I'm like, I'm just gonna make sourdough everything.
Esther's like, send me some.
Yes.
We're just gonna. I would
We'll
say
fly
we
you up,
took you up
Esther.
here,
We
Esther, but
fly you up.
you're good there. You don't want to come here.
Yeah, oh yeah, my state's kind of losing their mind.
We want to come to you.
Yeah, that way.
So, guys, we kind of have a plan. Getting into why we're all here, which is small towns, we kind of have a plan. If you're with us last month, then you were here when we came up with Heart Haven. You can read that. Heart Haven, which is our small town in Kansas. And we came up with a restaurant, some fast food places, some romance ideas, some story ideas, some people. Um, we had some fun with Hard Haven, and so we have decided, since everything we do pretty much centers around small town, let's keep Hard Haven going, and we're just going to reference things back to kind of like how we would do it if it was Hard Haven, so you guys can see like how we would full on build out a huge town. And I don't know, maybe at the end we can do something really fun with Hard Haven. Both of our schedules are a little cray cray right now, so I don't know if we could do it anytime soon. But yeah. And do you want to show things?
Sure. I tried to turn down the light to see if you guys can see it. We have our beginnings of Heart Haven.
I love this. I love this so much, guys. Like, it's so fun. It's so fun.
And there's more to it, but we'll save it for later.
Yes, because we have to like play with it and do some other stuff and get it all right. We might have forgotten that it was
Kansas doesn't have mountains, so I've got to make it I made a mountain town. She's like, no. So the mountain town will probably be in Colorado. So that'll be one place that they might visit. So,
yeah. Yeah, we might have forgotten, Kansas doesn't have mountains. We're okay. It's all right. But last week or last month I forgot the state flower. Wasn't it the state flower or bird or whatever?
No, I think it was the flower, the sunflower.
Yeah, I think it was sunflowers. I'd almost forgotten again. It's been a long time since I was in school in Kansas. It's been
yes, Esther.
I mean, possibly. I don't know. That's not a bad idea, Esther. It's not a bad idea. So yeah. So
there are farmlands. There are farmlands in Heart Haven. So.
There's trees and all kinds of stuff. It's gonna be so exciting. Because if you don't know, Nia is our map queen. She doesn't think that she is, but she is.
I just like them a lot.
I've drawn a few, but I don't think mine ever comes out as well as Nia's. Like,
yours look so cute though and fun. They do, guys.
She's being nice, guys. That's what's happening. She's being nice. So today we're talking about summertime, and that's how I feel, Esther. Full on, that's how I feel. We're talking about summertime in your small town and vacations in your small town, whether the people in your town are going on vacation or you're having family or friends and everybody else come in to the town. And we might, just because we were originally going to do this in July, but now we're in August and we're getting into, I actually saw a tree as I was driving the other day and I was like, are the leaves changing? So we might also talk a little bit about fall in your small town too today. Yeah. Because I wasn't ready.
We have been ready. Like someone, it's been in the upper 90s and wet. And when it's not wet, it's still been muggy. Like it feels like when you open the door, it literally has felt like you stepped into a sauna. And then the last couple days, something happened here in North Carolina. And I think, I don't remember if it was someone I'm on Facebook with or Instagram, but they said, whoever turned the temperature in North Carolina off from Satan's front door, thank you. Because that's literally what it felt like. Satan's front, like we are here. What is happening? It's so gross.
Oh, I feel it. Because I'm telling you, like we're still in the 90s today. And it's just like, that's why I'm like, we're in the 90s, and did I really just see a tree that looks like it was the leaf?
It's probably burnt. It's probably burning up. It's not turning colors. That leaf is burning up and drying out. Because we have had that happen here, where we're like,
I mean, it's Missouri.
That branch, the leaves are already starting to turn brown. No, that branch is like, we've given up. We're dying, and it would have just like fall off, like.
I mean, it would not surprise me. So absolutely, yes, 100%. I didn't even think about it burning up. That's so good. Give it out. So we are going to talk about. Esther might have a suggestion. I love when small towns have resorts or bed and breakfasts, or a lodge where people go skiing, snowboarding, ice skating. I do too. I Like I love a good bed and breakfast. I've actually never been to a bed and breakfast, but there's something about the idea of it. I just let's put it in all my small town. I think every small town I make has
Yes.
a bed and breakfast.
Literally, I've been looking for small towns or for a bed and breakfast to go to that's around Charlotte right now, for to go for my birthday. Um, my favorite one, we went to one in a town called New Bern. I'm in North Carolina, so we've got like all kinds of small towns, and I just loved it. It was so quaint that because we have these old historical houses with
Right?
the Victorian style porch, and it was so cute, and the room was all done up to look like, and I'm like, oh, I'm like, now New Bern and Charlotte are on opposite ends of the state, so I can't go there for my birthday and go see Wicked in Charlotte for my birthday. So I'm like, I need to
Oh.
find a bed and breakfast in Charlotte
There
or near
is, now
Charlotte.
that you say that might be an interesting idea. There is a uh you're fine, JC. We've been talking about bread. Uh
Yeah.
so we're just now getting into the heart of the matter. There there's a small town here that
Hmm.
has a it's based like it's not where all of our wineries in Missouri are, but there's a plethora of wineries in this specific area. And so a lot of people will do what they kind of call their the booze train.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
you
I
could
know about
take
the
the
food
train
train.
like
I've heard
'cause
of
it's
it.
so
Food
close.
train.
So you could take the train up to the town, and they have like a trolley that you could that takes you to all the different wineries, and so you
Mm.
can drink and do whatever, and then as long as you leave in time, you can catch the last train headed back for the night.
Oh, nice.
And so it's like a 1 day trip. That might be an interesting idea
Yeah.
for my birthday.
So
But they
I
also
need to
because
know
I
what.
they do have a bed and breakfast there. And so
Mhm.
I could maybe do like an overnight. Ooh, beer tour in Asheville.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about making it Asheville. Asheville is not as close to Charlotte as we might think, but it is at least on the same side. I did time that out, and I think it was under 2 hours. So I was like, I think maybe it was an hour and something because there's another town too. But yeah, yeah, I'm looking at that. And I was like, is that doable? It was an hour and something. It was under 2 hours, but there's another town further than Asheville. It wasn't Boone. Boone was like a whole like 3.5 hours. But there's a bunch of little towns. But I need to know what the condition of things are
Hmm.
there right now because of
Yeah,
everything that happened. And
yeah.
I think Asheville is a place that has some that's
They did
I
get
that's
hit
very,
pretty hard, I
yeah.
believe. Yeah.
Yeah, and all of the cute little small towns along there, all of them got, so it's that too, that it will have been a year, so I need to see, but fall is my
Hmm.
favorite time to go. I think I missed it last year. I told everybody that I was so sad for everybody that everything that happened to everybody to everyone there, because it is one of my favorite places to go for my birthday. So
See.
yeah, so
So I feel like we have decided that our town, Heart Haven, has a bed and breakfast.
yes. Where are we gonna put the bed and breakfast? Do we want it in town? And what's bringing people to Heart Haven to make them want to come to the bed and breakfast, or is the bed and breakfast the main hotel? Like, how small is a small town? Like, what is
And
there to
see,
see?
that's where,
Because I
okay,
know we got
so
the
when you
sunflower field, but is
are,
that enough of a draw? You
yeah,
know?
when you are building like these type of towns and you do want it to be like some place where people will come for a destination or something like that. Like, okay, I have my town Peach Ridge in Georgia. The draw of Peach Ridge is there's spas, it's right next to a state park, and there is an orchard. So
Yeah.
that's why, and they do a bunch of festivals. So those are the draws that bring people into that. If you're doing a resort town, it's easier because a lot of people will go to like a Hilton Head or Miami or oh, I can't think of the name of it, but it's also a wine place in Sonoma. Sonoma?
Oh yeah,
Sonoma?
Sonoma. Oh,
Yes,
Sonoma.
Sonoma. Right, because like those are the draws. So you have to come up with what's going to be the draw. In
Mhm.
Kansas, I'm really trying to think of what would be a draw.
Okay, so I had a little bit of this problem when I did Ethereal Falls. So Ethereal Falls, the big draw is that there's a college there, but because Ethereal Falls is also a little bit magical, so people don't know about the
Mhm,
magic. I had to like think of what else is the industry going to be, because not all of the people can work in a, at the institute, because
mhm.
only people who have a little fae in their blood can work there. So it does have a dairy farm and a fruit farm and a factory, and they produce their own stuff. So I
Yeah.
I I added these industries in, that way the shops and stuff, because you know, we've got shops, we've got the Iris
Mhm.
Inn. Or so I'm like, I need a, why are people coming
I
to a
did
hotel?
that with Bliss Haven. I added in
Mhm.
the ice cream
Yeah,
um company because that was the draw of why people would come. They do tours and
yeah.
they show off everything. And it's pretty close to a mountain. So what I agree with Esther. What is there in Kansas? There's farmland. Uh we could like I do have um I think Route 66 goes through Kansas, so maybe it could be like a touristy type of like throwback town to maybe that.
Yeah, and I'm
Um
thinking that since we are going to have a sunflower farm, uh,
mhm.
or place, I think we're going to have other farms. We could do something with that, like maybe they have a sunflower festival. That might be something that draws people there.
Ooh, I
So
like that. A
maybe,
sunflower festival?
yeah. So
You
there's
also
some awesome to just kind of like create a thing, create a thing for your town.
here's the another thing that you could do because you are creating your own towns in the sense of like Esther saying pop culture, specific foods, alcohols, things like that. I don't know if Kansas is really known for alcohol production, but you
Sunflower
could
beer,
a what?
sunflower beer.
Sunflower beer. Uh,
Our Haven has a famous sunflower beer.
you could. It's so good. Um, you could have. You can make up your own person or your own like maybe we have it like maybe sunflower or right outside sunflower heart
Sunflower
haven
cider. Mhm.
has like something that like maybe right outside of it is similar to say like Mount Rushmore, even though it's not, because they don't have mountains in Kansas, but like maybe it's something
Maybe it's
that's
a
like
crater.
a what
Maybe it's like a crater, something that people like to go
could
climb
be,
down into.
like it could be that maybe they have like some type of mine or something that's famous for something. Um, you could even give it a historical fact. Like we could be like, it was one of the first towns to have a bank off the railroad track, or I don't know, like something crazy like that. Famous movie, Beautiful Sunflower Scene was recorded there. That I mean, what is it? We went back. One of my aunts, her she's like a half sister for my father, and her mom passed away, and we went back to the small town where they were from, someplace Mississippi. Couldn't even tell you the name if I tried. Um, and their claim to fame, number one, was that they still had a 5-cent soda in their what is it? The drugstore cafe. And that the courthouse in the center of the town was where they filmed the outside court scenes from A Time to Kill.
Mm.
And so that was their claim to fame. Like people did come through. Now they came through for like a day to see the thing and um, walk away. Yeah, you've never heard of a cafe drugstore? It used to be an old Southern thing. Like they would have like your five and dime or your drugstore your general type of store, and in the back they would have a cafe, and it maybe have like 5 or 6 tables in it, like a little what it's not really a counter, I guess it would be, and people would go in and get like their lunch and uh
Yeah,
like maybe a breakfast or something like that. They didn't generally serve like dinners or anything
yeah, we
big.
still have things like those. It maybe not a drugstore, but the smaller grocery stores have
Mm-hmm.
like little cafes in them, and it's literally um, there's one in a town that my mom likes to go to, and it's a Piggly Wiggly, and people go
They
there
had a
and
Piggly Wiggly
I'm like,
too.
are you serious? They go there to eat? Is it good? She's like, yeah, it's good. It's got to take it to the old Southern food. I'm like, okay, well, you can drive 30 minutes out there if you want to go out to that town and do that, but
I
okay.
know. And
But
in
they
all
like it.
fairness,
They like it. And it's a little old grocery store, and it's got a little old cafe in it, and people go there for lunch.
now I like to believe back in the day when this, cafe drugstore was popping, like our $5 soda was maybe about this big. I like to think they gave them a real size soda for that 5 cent, like, but literally it was maybe this big. But it came in like one of those little, like, the, what is it, the glasses that go kind of like the hourglass or something,
Oh
and
yeah,
they
yeah,
had like
yeah.
the Coca-Cola on the front embossed on there and everything. So it came in one of those. It was just a mini one. But it was a fun thing. And because it was Mississippi and because we knew the history of it, my father did find it, I don't want to say symbolic, but he did appreciate the fact that we were eating in the cafe, because it, back when the cafe was really popular, Black
Hmm.
people could order their food, but they had to go to the back in order to order it, and then they had to stay outside and then go back to the back and pick it up. So you could not sit inside and eat. And so for my father, that was kind of a big deal that we were
Oh
sitting there with our little,
yeah, yeah.
5 cent sodas, and a grilled cheese that was barely grilled.
You know what? But you
But
got.
we celebrate all wins, right? Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, so that was a huge thing. So that actually could be something fun that we have in our small town, because it's small town Kansas. I feel like they could have a drugstore cafe.
Absolutely.
I like this. Okay, so what would be a draw? The other thing that I was thinking of, but they don't normally put them, I think, in small towns, or in, like, they're normally adjacent to towns that people know of in these places. Um oh yeah, we definitely have to have Little League, because we have a single dad who's the Little League coach. Yes. But like, and obviously I'm, because I think there already is a presidential museum for, I feel like there was a president from Kansas. Um, why do I want to say Truman? Because I know it's not him. But maybe like we could come up with a historical figure that we've decided has a museum that's near this town. Yeah, it's not Dole. Um, I can't. I know there's a president from Kansas. I just can't remember. But I do think they already have a museum for him. At least I think there is. Y'all, I learned nothing in Kansas. Okay, I don't know why I even went to college there. Because apparently I don't know the state flower. I don't remember if there's a president from Kansas. Like, I was living in my own world.
Margaret said Ike. I
Eisenhower. Yes, you were right. Dwight D. Eisenhower. Well, he's
Margaret.
associated with it because he was born in Texas, but he moved to Kansas.
Hmm.
So yeah, so maybe we could come up with that, or I do like the Sunflower Festival.
Hmm.
Yeah, like an outstanding citizen that went above and beyond. Like maybe we could have an astronaut.
Yeah, I was
Like we
thinking.
can make up our own astronaut that supposedly did something in space, and now there's a space museum for him there. I don't know. So that's always a fun thing, is kind of coming up with
Mhm.
why people will come to your town. And it's fun because it's your town, so you can create whatever it is you wanna do. uh, oh, look at there. Marcus even got us a list of
Yeah.
people from Kansas. So you could actually find a legit historical figure that's
Nice.
coming from there. Um, any other ideas of what Kansas has?
I don't think I haven't been to Kansas. I don't know.
I know.
Um,
Because I'm
maybe.
trying to think of the, like,
Okay, so
Topeka is known basically because it's the capital, I believe. And then there's like schools. We could put a college.
yeah, we could do something. Well, I have to look and see.
We could,
With
oh,
something Wizard of Oz, tornado hunters. Did we say tornado hunters is
we
on our
did. We
list?
have a tornado chaser. We could, okay. So I went to school in Manhattan, which is right next to the military base, Fort Riley. And there are a few towns like around the base. So we could have it be around the base.
Mm.
That would bring people there. And it would bring military families in. It would be reasons why people would visit.
Mm-hmm.
So we could maybe do that.
Yes. Dear
Stand up
God.
comedy club.
Yeah. Rodeo. Do you guys does Kansas do rodeos?
I never went to a rodeo while I was there, but I feel like it's something they would do.
Need to do a little more research on Kansas. This is what I'm learning.
I know. Like we're just writing down all the different things. But here's the thing, even if I'm writing down everybody's suggestions too, so when you see me doing this, that's what I'm doing, because I'm keeping a running tab of all of the stuff that we are saying. um so like in Peach Ridge, they have a horse saloon where they teach people how to ride, and like during the festival they bring in people for the rodeo.
Sam and Dean are from Kansas.
So we could do, what if we had a rodeo school?
I like it.
Ghost hunting tours would be a good thing. We could have, it could be a like maybe there was some crazy something lore
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that happened in town. So yeah, so we could do something like that. We could maybe have a rodeo school. So once you figure out why people would come, if you're looking at fall and summer, what brings them there for those specific times?
Right.
Oh, for the ghost tour, abandoned farm a couple of miles away from the sunflower
Mm-hmm.
field. Yeah. So sunflowers seem like the sunflower festival would probably be something you'd have what?
Sunflower harvest time is typically fall
Right,
switch
like
means late
August?
summer. Nope, late summer, early
Oh,
fall. So it could be. So we that could be when they harvest them. But when they harvest them is not when they bloom necessarily. When they harvest them is when they're ready for the seeds. So
hmm. So
Maybe,
that could be a summer festival, end of summer festival that the town does.
yeah. So if they're really big on their sunflowers, maybe there's, let me see when they because I specifically want to ask for when they get harvested. Let's see when they bloom, which should be spring, because it, you could have a spring event and then a fall event.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see, bloom.
And a lot of towns will have both, as well as
Oh,
little other small things between
they
them.
also bloom in late summer into early fall, with the peak bloom often occurring July and August. So summertime. They, why AI? Well, I guess no, because summer goes into September. Why are you saying bloom from late summer into early fall, with the peak bloom often occurring
Because
in July?
August is like the cutoff. It's sometimes considered summer, it's
Yeah.
sometimes considered fall.
Okay. All right. So we're talking July, August for the full bloom, and then
Mm-hmm.
ready to harvest in the fall. So, and that's a little research that you do when, that's how it works. You will have an idea. You're like, will this work in my town? When can I use it? Google is your friend. Now it's Google AI overview, but that's fine.
There you go. Margot
But
said you
you
minus
take the I,
AI to take out the AI summary.
yeah.
And Esther's like, don't
Exactly.
believe
That's why
me.
I'm like, that's why I looked at the AI overall, and then I started looking at actual articles, and I'm like, wait a minute,
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, more accurately.
yeah. So,
But that's how you do it. That's how you do your little research. If you wanna, if you're like, I think this idea might work, you know, and then you might look up something and be like, oh, this doesn't exist in this area at all. There is no, say you're like, I want to do a seafood festival, it's going to be great, and then you look and you're like, Kansas doesn't really do seafood festivals, and it's just like,
right. They have no seafood. They have no sea. Um,
yeah, exactly. And you'd be like, that's not gonna, seafood festival's not gonna work
right.
here, you know, something
Um,
else, try something else.
Same like if you want to do sunflower. I mean, not sunflower, sunflower seed. Maybe they don't have a sunflower seed festival, even though they have sunflowers. So you
Hmm.
always want to make sure that you're kind of researching. Google will become your best friend.
Yeah.
Google, whatever search engine you use, even if it's AI, it might become your best friend when you're
Yeah.
trying to like come up with these festivals and kind of uh or these reasons why people would visit, because you really want to learn as much as you can about your area.
Hmm.
Um, Margaret is a great example because I had the great pleasure of meeting our lovely Miss Margaret, and she's just as much of a joy in person as she is on screen. If you have not been following Margaret, please go do so. But she's very familiar with the West Coast. I am not familiar with the West Coast. So it was wonderful to sit down and kind of pick her brain about some of the things that I was kind of thinking of including in my small town that I had to maybe rethink or switch out and kind of put together and reimagine. And I think it gave my town more um, credibility, maybe is the
Yeah.
word I'm thinking of, because of that. So if you know people who live in a specific place or have visited there, or if you can do research, I love a good YouTube video of like things to do in certain towns.
Hmm. Yep. I love to do the walking, and there's not just only are there walking tours, but there are people
Mhm.
who will walk through towns and tell you what things are, and what, when that's, when these things are popping off, you know. So I love watching YouTube videos. I do them
Yeah.
all. I'll watch them all day long. Like, oh, where are we going today? Let's go to Santa Barbara, or let's go to
Mhm.
Austin.
So yes, so that's one of my favorite ways, if it's someplace that I haven't been, is to reach out to people I either know or
Hmm.
people who live in that area, or again, YouTube, looking up like the walking tours, and especially if you could find sometimes, like I love the videos that are like top 10 things to do when you come to Missouri or whatever. But the ones that I really love is if you can find somebody's vacation vlog when they've gone to that place, because you generally get like stuff that you may not, because the top 10 things, they're trying to give you like the touristy attraction-y kind of
Yeah.
stuff, and like the big name things that people will see. If you're looking at a vlog, sometimes they're just walking down the street and they're like, hey, what's this place, let's go in.
Yeah.
And you see stuff that you wouldn't see generally.
Yeah. And then there's the people who will do the vlogs and they live in a town and they're like, people always come for this, but let me tell you about this, this, and this that people don't know about. And it's a lot of fun, So there's that. But nothing beats
my father did that one time.
I love that.
He was I feel like it was Japan. It was some Asian country that he was there, like they were, because my father was military, and so they were on a layover or a stayover, so they were only there for like 24, 48 hours, something like that. And they had like one day that they could go on their own. And so he got into I don't know if they call them cabs over, in that area or whatever, but he got in there and he had bought like this pack of postcards. And so he told the guy, and he was like, he handed him the pack of postcards. He was like, can you take me to these places? Or where's the best places to go in town if I want to really get a good experience? And he just paid the dude for the whole day. And the guy just drove him to all the different places that people maybe wouldn't know or didn't, like go to, and some of the places that were on the postcards and all the different things. He said it was like one of the best trips he'd ever taken. So yeah. No, my dad does not done a vlog. It will never happen. Margaret, it's one of my favorite. Whenever I go out of town, if it's someplace new and I'm not with people that I know, he did look out with a good cabbie. But I do have a tendency to, like you're in the hotel and I don't ask the hotel people, like at the like at the check-in and all that, like if they have like a breakfast and someone is like serving with the breakfast or whatever, I will ask them. Or if we go to breakfast somewhere, I will ask them and be like, what are some of the really great things to see in town? Like if I was a local, like, where do you guys like to go? And like a lot of times they will give you things that you've never even thought of. So yes, my father would be hilarious in a vlog. He really would. But then people would see him and know him, and then, oh my God. Yes, get lost on purpose. Exactly. Yeah, this part. That's why I don't always ask the people who work there, because they do have like, and I don't know if it's necessarily they get affiliates, but they probably have places that they are told to recommend, or places that they're used to everybody wanting to see, type of thing. So yeah, that's why I tend to try to find the people that are, because there's places I would tell people to go to in Missouri that I don't think a lot of people would. They're not your normal places that people would think to go, so yeah, I think always ask the locals. They have fun stuff. And sometimes it's like, here's where everybody wants to go, and if you turn around, here's where everybody that's local will be like, nah, go here.
Yep.
So I like these ideas. What else would you recommend for if you're trying to make it summertime in your city or in your small town, Nia?
Check the weather apps and the weather map histories so that you know what the weather is like in that town during that time, so that you're being very accurate. Because there's some places that are further up north where you're like, it's summertime, but maybe they're still wearing sweaters. There's places there used to be, I used to go to Florida every summer, and where we would go, it would rain every day for like 5 or 10 minutes every day. And then it was sunshine and hot the rest of the time. So we just knew, we would like, oh gosh, it's almost that time. Let's go. 'Cause we would be out and about. or we'd be at Disney or Universal or SeaWorld or wherever we were at. And we'd be like, oh my gosh, it's like almost 3 o'clock. Let's go get something to eat. So then you're under a huddle area during the little like 5 or 10 minute rain. I don't know what that was about, but I don't know if it's still like that. But I know during the like 2010s, it would just be like that where we would go visit. It would like rain for like 10 minutes every day in the summertime. So
Yes.
weird. There's like just little things, little things.
Yeah, like
And
as I'm saying,
sometimes,
or you get stuck because of a tropical storm.
mm,
Because that's my other thing. Like, make sure, especially, like, we generally talk about setting our small towns in U.S. areas, but there are small towns like across the world,
mhm.
in other countries and other like places and other islands, like everything else. And Esther has a valid point. Like, it might be summer for us here and it's winter for people on the other side of the globe,
Yeah, or on
or
the
different
upside down side
places.
of the world, the
Yeah,
upside down side of the world,
down
Australia.
below or up above or whatever. Or maybe they have a shorter span of summer. Like, we're thinking summer is like, we normally think of it what, June, maybe even May to August-ish, give or take. Theirs may be like, no, it's these 2 months. And
Mhm.
it's literally those 2 months.
Yeah,
Like, when I lived in Michigan, we had snow in May, and I was
yeah.
like,
I was gonna
"What's
say
that for?"
they're still getting snow sometimes in Montana and stuff. They're still getting snow in June.
Right.
So
So you definitely want to make sure, even in the US, that you are looking at the time frames of what's considered summer, what's considered fall. Some people's trees don't change. Like, we write these great fall stories about the changing leaves and the falls, and some people's don't. It goes straight summer, winter, leaves are
yeah,
done.
I don't know where I was looking at something. I want to say it was getting closer to Canada, but I can't remember if it was East Coast or West Coast. The trees just looked green all the
Yeah.
time. They just looked like giant, giant, giant green trees. And then they're like, and then it was snowing. I'm like, wait, did y'all?
And for
Because
that matter,
I don't know
what
what the
type of
documentary
trees?
was, but it was through time. And I'm like, now he's saying it's spring. Okay.
Yeah.
Snow is melting. And all the trees are just green, green, green. All summer, the trees are just green. Winter starts, and then it snows. I'm like, I didn't see a season. I just saw green, tall green trees and water.
That
Very
brings up
pretty.
another good point. What is the foliage? Because we tend to think, oh, it's everybody has the same trees. No, everybody doesn't have the same trees. Everybody doesn't have the same flowers. So also check that. Esther has another good one. What do the locals do for fun during the different
Mhm.
seasons? Because that also will give you reasons why people come to visit.
Yeah.
Is there a
And if
hunting season, fishing
yeah.
season,
And it gives
deer,
you things
beer,
that your people
beer,
do.
bear?
Yeah. If you're just writing your story set in summer, but they're not going on vacation, they're just at home, it just lets you know what people do
Mhm.
during the summertime at home. Like we're
Yeah,
staying in town. What are
yeah.
we doing?
Bye, Margaret. Have fun reading about trees.
Yes.
um, yeah, what's the state flower? What's the state bird? Like, those things will give you great insight into, like, maybe what you might want to name a festival, or
Mhm.
what they might do. Is there a state park by there? Maybe it's known for hikes. Like they do a lot of hiking during the summer. Is there like a pool or a pond or something? Maybe they do fish, maybe they swim. There's a place in Missouri where they do tubing, because there's like a lake that runs through, and so a lot of people, that's their summer, pretty much all summer long. They're on the lake in a tube, right, floating by. There can be beer and bear hunting season. Thank you, Esther. I love the support. So yeah, so look at the different things that you could do, but also because it is your small town, you can come up with specific things that you like your people to do.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe every summer they have a barbecue, a town barbecue competition, and old man Walker comes in every year talking about how he's gonna win, and everybody makes fun of him because they're like, that man burns his meat every single time.
Yeah. All the
But
time.
this year he's got that new recipe. It's gonna be good. And everybody's like, oh yeah,
Okay.
okay. Reverend somebody's mom brings the coleslaw, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody's like, Lord, tell that woman to stop putting carrot or peas in the coleslaw. Nobody wants peas in the coleslaw.
Yeah.
Some people bike the entire summer. My father is a big biker. That's another good one. Is that could be something that you do as well. So yeah, always think of what are summer things that could just be your town. I made up a motorcycle rally for a town. So, where people came from all over to go to the motorcycle rally. So you could do something like that. Maybe we could have a motorcycle rally in Hardhaven. Um, oh, that could be something fun. Maybe the one-way road from that really old neighborhood does a big summer party because one of the houses has a pool.
Yeah.
So yeah, could have a pool party, but because it's Kansas and there's no water, it's at the Y.
Yeah. Maybe there's some people in the town that are like I don't know if you guys heard of Antipasta Gate, where the lady from New
No.
Jersey moved to a small town and got invited to what she thought was a barbecue. It was not. It was a private party, and she was chased out of there after being invited. And she bought a beautiful antipasta salad.
Oh, sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is your small town community first or tourist first? That is a good one, Esther. And that is something that I think you do always have to consider.
Yeah.
Because you build things differently. If it's say Regina was talking about this week in Reno, the environs is hot. August nights, a huge multi-DAT class car show with
Mhm.
competitions and old-fashioned tools through town cruising with old classic cars. But if you think of Reno, same as say Las Vegas or a number of different cities in Nevada, it tends to be more tourist first. Maybe a Sonoma tends to be more tourist first.
Yeah.
Hilton Head, Miami,
Exactly. There's a couple that I
Austin,
watched.
Texas, even.
Um, there's a couple that I watched. They do cruises and train rides, and they go
Mm-hmm.
all around the world. And they were talking about their favorite places and their least favorite places. And a couple of the places that they went to in Europe, because you go, I guess they would be on. I don't know if I think they were cruising at this time. Um, but they said some of the towns, it's not that they were bad, the towns were beautiful, but it's literally a place that you go for one day and you don't need to go back because they're not set up for tourists. The people are like literally just going about their regular day looking at you like, okay, what are you doing here, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. You go and you see the beautiful architecture and the views, and you take your pictures, but it's not like they would say there were other towns in Italy or Spain or whatever that they're like, oh, we would definitely go back and stay for longer because it's set up that there are hotels or
Mm-hmm.
um, longer stay places that you can stay at, and it's different. The vibe is different. Where those other smaller towns that they were visiting around the Mediterranean, they were just the town that's just there. That's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
That it's pretty to look at, but the shops weren't set up. Nobody, they weren't ready for the currency. They weren't there for English or other language speaking people. They're just literally just the town. So that would be a town that's just them, but it's beautiful, so people like to come and see it, and then you may go. Whereas other towns, they're like, we need people to stay because this is how we get our money. Come visit. We're setting up. We've got hotels
Exactly.
and for you to stay. So there is very much a difference.
Um, in that fact, you could also have a hybrid town where, like, during most of the year, yeah, it's town first. Like they don't get a lot of tourists, they don't do a lot of different things, but come fall or Christmas or whatever, that's their big season when
Yep.
everybody comes in, or beginning of summer, that's when everybody comes in. Like they set themselves up, for
Yeah.
this. Like they get excited, like these are the big, huge things, that they're doing. Like this is when, and then they're like, they love the tourists. Please bring the tourists, all the
Yep.
tourists. And then the tourists go away and they're back to like, town center.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a lot of the small towns on the East Coast. They're
mhm.
beach towns. They have their season.
Yes.
It's full, it's packed, and then you can go in the wintertime or in the fall or early spring before it warms up, and there's no one there, and it's like it's gorgeous, and the people, it's just different. It's different vibes.
Hmm.
Same thing when we used to go to Williamsburg. Um, we used to go to Williamsburg. We're going to Williamsburg in the summer, and then someone's like, "Oh no, if you can do it, you need to come back in the fall." Totally different. Even like going to the theme park, it was all locals. You could ride whatever you wanted to ride. It wasn't hot because it was only local. It was like night and day the difference between going to, what was it, Busch Gardens in
Oh yeah.
Virginia during the summertime versus going any other time during the school year when it's literally just locals and nobody's pressed to get on a ride. The locals are just sitting around eating.
Hmm. It's this.
They're not worried about rides.
What am I trying to think of? Lake of the Ozarks here in Missouri.
Mhm.
You go during the summer, totally different than if you go like fall or winter. Very different. I was also thinking of, there is a town called Santa Claus. It's in Indiana, and go during the summer, very different than if you go during the winter. Um, Obviously, I mean they have a gigantic statue of Santa. So I mean, it's where people go.
Mhm.
Sometimes people go just for like a day trip because they have so many small towns, and they'll go like, yes, JC, there really is one. Um, like they'll go, they have like you could buy, like they have stores that are just ornaments, so people will go for that, or they'll have like their festival that they do for the day. People will go for that and then they go home, type of a thing. But people do actually go visit, they have a theme park with rides and stuff that you can do. And so it becomes a whole, thing during the winter. So yeah. Does he get to get a surfboard during the summer? I don't know. We've only driven through once. Um, that I've been with my father during the summer. I feel like he's driven through a few good times. Um, and then I know he's gone during the winter. Um, or at least late fall into winter conversation. So yeah. It's, it's my father. Of course, he went to some place called Santa Claus. He's also been to Metropolis, Illinois, the home of Superman, uh,
Yeah.
that also has a gigantic Superman and a Daily Planet newspaper. Uh, so, Um, so I think they do put sunglasses on him, though. I feel like I have a picture and he had sunglasses on. Might have sunglasses on. I don't know about the surfboard, though. So yeah, so those are options as well. Yeah, there's a theme park and everything. Um, you could also, here's another great one, which is something we maybe could do for Heart Haven. Was it Hershey, Pennsylvania? The whole town is centered around the fact that That's where the Hershey
Hmm.
bar was created. That's where the Hershey plant is. That's where they make the chocolates. And they too have a theme park. They have everything dealing with chocolate. I think they even used to have like I don't know if it was like a boys' school or a university or something like that for people to go to school there, maybe to learn how to make chocolate. I don't quite remember. Um, but yeah, so you can come up with, that's the great thing about building your own town, is that you can have fun. You can make up your own fall festivals. Like you can take every Hallmark fun event that you've ever thought would be great if
Yeah.
they had it in your town, and throw it in like your actual small town. Uh,
And I feel like you have so much more freedom versus when you're trying to put your story in a real town
mhm,
where people will read it and be like, that's not right, that's not there, that
mhm,
hasn't been there in 20 years, and people will do it. That road's wrong, or you can't name that road that, or you can't get that way on that road. You know,
mhm,
because they'll be in their head about that your town is a real place and these people are really here, and you're trying to make things up. So
mhm.
yeah, and it's sad because it's still fiction. So you would think people would, and some people do just say, "Okay, it's fiction. I'm just gonna roll with it." But then some people don't, and it's just like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
I'll just make my own. Just make my own.
yeah. And it's, I'm sorry, JC, I didn't mean to send you down a rabbit hole. Walk away from Santa Claus. Walk
Yeah,
away. Uh, walk away from Santa Claus. Walk away from Hershey's. Just, you know, come back. But again, like you, because you do have, and sometimes it's hard also with timing, because we don't release our stuff, like sometimes we don't know when we're going to release something. We'll get the book done, when we get it finished editing, get the cover design, can figure it out, put it into our schedule and stuff like that. So every year we have a parade in May for like some founder of something here. I don't remember what he did. I just know we have this parade every year. Um if I'm trying to center my book around that parade, but I can't release it, or it doesn't get written, or my editor doesn't get it back to me until the end of May, and that parade is in the beginning of May, do I release it in June even though you know what I mean? Or if I'm releasing it in April, what do you do? Type of a thing. So there's always that too when you're working with like actual places, or you're trying to center things around stuff that an actual town or a city might have. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to put that together the way that
yeah,
you normally would think you can with a small town, because I don't get my fall book written in August. Maybe my fall festival is in September.
yeah. And there's some school of thoughts who, especially with the seasonal books, that it's good. But there are people who will keep reading your book, any time of the year. So obviously, so that's great. But there is also something to be said for, um, if on the marketing side of things, putting your book out well timed, you know, right before the season. You'll see like a lot of Christmas books coming out, starting in sometimes as early as September, but definitely November timeframe. You start seeing the holiday books. The fall books start coming out in August. And they'll come out all the way through the end of fall. So there is something to be said for that. And even though some people are like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm inundated with books during the season, there, for the author, that could be a good thing, because that's a quick way to get eyes on your story, because there's a large group of people that are looking for that thing, you know
Mhm.
um, but there will still be people who want to read fall books in the spring or don't care what season the book
Yeah.
takes place in. They'll just they just see a book that they like. So for marketing purpose, sometimes you do want to get on that. If it's a fall based book, you want to get it out in the fall.
Hmm.
um, Summer based books, you want to get those out right before summer, or put them out during the summer. There's something to that.
My football series comes out in either the fall or before Super Bowl, unless it is something that's like maybe it deals with like the draft, or maybe it deals with training camp or something like that. But, and not to say, look, I've still had people reading the football series all year long, but I know that's the hot part of it. That's when people are like all excited because they saw Taylor Swift at a football game. Like that's when,
Mhm.
like they're like people are talking about it around the water cooler at work. That's when people are doing the fantasy leagues and stuff like that. So people are inundated with inundated one of those ways, with football talk around them. So if they see a football book that just released, then it's like, oh, okay, well, that might be interesting to check out.
Mhm.
Whereas maybe they're not thinking about it as much in like March. So, but if I have a baseball series that releases in March, now they might be thinking about it because baseball season is gearing up. People are talking about stats and stuff like that. And then they're like, oh, okay. Sure, let's get into that.
Yeah.
So sometimes you do want to take into account what is happening in the world around. Not always, because we are building our own places. Oh, thank you. So yeah, these are always great ideas. We are a little over our time. Do we have any questions? Do we have any suggestions? Do we have anything for that before we let you guys go? Because we don't want to keep you too long. We always try to be a little reasonable. We're not always great, but we try. I don't know. JC's still down the rabbit hole of Santa Claus.
Might as well just let her have it.
I know. I maybe never should have told her. At least she hasn't started looking at Metropolis. Metropolis, I feel like, would be a bigger letdown. Uh, you're muted again. Oh, she's talking to space. I feel. Uh, you enjoy that, JC. Um, you enjoy Santa Claus. You have a ball. My father would be so happy. I can tell him I told you about it, and he'd be like, yes. Uh,
Okay.
so let's see. Before we take off, where will you be, Nia? This week?
This week I will be streaming Tuesday night with some friends if anybody wants to come along. And then this weekend, the coming up weekend, next weekend, we're going to be doing Mary Poppins for scripting the book. So
I'm
excited for
so
it.
sad that I didn't realize you were doing that, and I feel like you said it and I missed it.
Okay. I haven't been on a lot, so I know that I have mentioned it, but I think maybe I mentioned it on the last scripting the book. So because I'm not streaming as much right now, don't worry about it. It's fine. But yeah, doing
Well,
Mary
no,
Poppins.
I would have loved to have jumped on. Mary Poppins is one of my childhood favorite
Then
memories
then do. Then
because
do.
I haven't read the book. Read
Read
it
it.
in
Go,
time.
go read it this week. You have time. It's next Sunday, so you have time. Let me know. I'll put you on the thumbnail
Okay, I
because
might
we like
try if I can go
yeah.
find it and it's a fast read because I do read a little quickly. I may try because I love Mary Poppins.
Oh, okay.
Mary
Okay. Yeah.
Poppins was if I got like sick or I didn't feel good, Mary Poppins was always like
Yes.
the movie
It's
my
so
mom
fair.
was like, let's watch.
So many good memories watching that. So I'm excited. We're really excited to talk
And it
about
would
this.
if I did do it, it'd probably give me the excuse that I need. I've been trying to watch that Emily Blunt version for like
Yes, I'm getting ready to watch
8,000
that this
years.
week.
So it might give me the excuse to actually sit down.
Yeah, I started watching it, but it was so late because I started watching it at like midnight and I fell asleep. So I was like, but I was hearing the music and all the stuff going on, and then I was like, wait, it's over, and I'm like, I slept through it, but not because I was bored. I slept through it because it was like literally like 12:30 when I started. I don't know what I was thinking because my days have been so busy. So I was like, when am I gonna watch this?
Okay, so
So
here's
yeah,
the thing,
I'm gonna watch it again
JC.
this week.
I actually there's two things. One of which my cousin says doesn't make sense, and I tend to agree with her, but it is what it is. Um, for some reason, if I listen, like I don't mind audiobooks, but if I listen to one, I rarely retain what it is that I listen to. So if we're gonna have a discussion about it, I probably wouldn't be great remembering what it was that I wanted to talk about from listening to the audiobook. The other thing is, and this is where my cousin says that it doesn't make any sense. Audiobooks put me to sleep. And she's like, how do you listen to podcasts and stay awake? But audiobooks put you to sleep.
It's okay. The thing with audio, I think there is something to people who say that they fall asleep during audiobooks. If you were a person, especially who, when you were younger, someone used to read to you before bedtime,
Yeah.
I could totally see that. I could totally see that.
So yeah, so uh yeah, I rarely will do it if there's no other way that I can get the book, or if there's certain things, and then because like there are like I listen to a really good I do listening to people's autobiographies as an audiobook, especially if they read it.
But
A lot
when
of
they're
times
reading
like
it,
they're
oh, I love
really,
that.
like
It's
the
like they're
emotion of
talking to
it and
you.
everything is like really good. It's almost like watching like a one person theater show. um but I have tried to listen to, like, sometimes like there's like craft books or different things that I really want to listen to, because I
Mhm.
want to get into them, but reading them, I'm a little bored. Um, and
Yeah.
so you would think I'd fall asleep on those. Actually, those I don't fall asleep on, but because
Craft
I
books are
don't
great. It's like
retain,
listening to a lecture. It's like listening to a
but
lecture
here's
and
the
I
problem,
can
because
take
I don't
notes. I love
retain it,
craft
I
books.
feel like I have to go back because I want to take notes.
Yeah, do take notes. When I listen to craft books on audio, that's how I'm listening to it like it's a lecture that I need to be taking notes on.
Yeah, so I find that I have to kind of like either I have to be sitting down like listening to it and then take notes, but then if I'm just sitting down listening to it, then I'm like, why can't I just read the book? And so- my mind is quirky.
But
So I go back and
I
forth.
hybrid read all the time. I love me some
But there
audio.
are like sometimes if there's a book I don't know if I want to buy, and I can't find it at my library. My library has like that Hoopla extension,
Mhm.
and for some reason Hoopla, they don't always have the book, but they have the audio. And so it's just easier to get it that way and then try to, listen to it, or
Yeah,
do what I can with that.
yeah,
So yeah. But I'm gonna try. I will go looking and see if I can't find Mary Poppins, because I didn't know it
yeah.
was a
Just
book.
let me know. I will add you to the thumbnail and get a little thing set up for us. So yeah,
Um,
really excited. We're excited about Mary Poppins.
I am not streaming this Thursday, but this Thursday I will actually be on the Romance Happy Hour podcast as a
Yay!
guest. So I put the link in if you guys want to come hang out, and I'm going to be reading from one of my books. I still have not decided which one, torn between three. Um, so if you guys want to come hang uh, and have some fun, by all means do. It's going to be live, so questions, I'm assuming. And have a good old fashioned time. I'm again. I've only episodes, so it was fun. Which excuse me, I'm choosing between. Um, I'm choosing between Speed of My Heart, which is Lucas and Sloan, one of my first releases. I'm choosing with from Writing with the Bad Boy because that is one of my most recent releases. And part of me thought of possibly also maybe reading from my new release that's coming out this month that takes us back to Peach Ridge. That was a surprise release because I didn't know if I could finish that book.
Ooh, good options. Good options.
So yeah, so I have not decided, but I'm really leaning towards Lucas and Sloan. Just because they just always hold a special place. And not just because they were one of the first that I did, but because I love enemies to lovers, and they are, or at least rivals to lovers. And I don't know, like their banter is just so. I could write Lucas and Sloan like all the live long day and be happy. I could just send them to all kinds of different stuff, like throw them in all kinds of different scenarios. I love when they start fighting. I love when they make up.
Aww.
I will say because they are in the new book that's coming out, and they have one of what's the line? Because someone is saying that Sloane's like, why am I talking to both of you? Because Lucas is on the phone and someone else. And the person's like, why? I asked him to be here so that it keep you calm. And he's like, have you paid attention to our relationship? I can piss her off faster than anyone. And so then he's like, yeah, we tend to think of fighting as foreplay. And so yeah, so I can write them all day long, every day. Like I love the two of them. So I don't know. They're one of my top favorite couples that I've ever written.
Nice.
Um,
Nice.
so yeah, so I'm leaning towards Speed of My Heart. Plus, because the other one does take people back to Peach Ridge, if they start Speed of My Heart or Dear You, then they have time to read the other ones in Peach Ridge before this one comes out. So
Awesome. Yeah.
I'm leaning that direction, but we shall see. Tune in on Thursday and find out.
Oh, and really quick, we are still doing the Brandon Sanderson classes, so we're having so much fun with those. Yeah, we've had some really great discussions. So
I generally have you guys on in the background, but because I'm normally working on other stuff, so I don't watch Brandon. You guys on because you're like good company. You're studying, I'm working. We're working.
I've like got a notebook full of notes now. Like I've been surprised at how much I've enjoyed like taking it like it's a class. It's been like so much fun.
Yay! I love
having
that.
people to take it with. Yeah. So yeah.
I wish I'd love if one of like the top romance writers would do something similar. I think that would be
I know.
great.
That would be that really would. If you guys are wondering, I've been munching on some boom chicken.
I bought that big bag from Sam's recently and didn't know that my father liked boom chicka pow until I brought it in, and then he was like, you got popcorn? And I was like, wait, what? I bought the chips because you like the chips.
You wanted the chips. You got that popcorn over there. There's something about it. It's irresistible. You don't know you want it until you see it, and then you're like, yeah, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. So yes. All right, guys, we are going to take off. So this week, look for Nia. Tuesday, look for me. Thursday, and then next Sunday, maybe both of us. Uh, who knows? And we will see you next month for Small Town World again. All right,
Yeah.
guys. And once more, it was hard enough trying to make that intro work. So we're just going to wave for an outro. Bye.
Oh, yeah. We'll work it out. We'll work it out.